Welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations. Very happy to be here with you today. And today we're going to be with Mair Emenogu. Sorry. Bad dog night. Bad dog night. Hi, Sue. Hi, Mair. She's joined. And we're going to have a very interesting time with Mair Emenogu. And my apologies, I'm getting better at this all the time. And she's coming on right now. Go live with me. Interesting and different kind of conversation today. Our guests are ones who are just extraordinarily competent and capable and ready with new information. And you're not going to want to miss this one. It will give you a new way of thinking about things and really being introduced to a woman of her own design. And today, if you haven't been with us before, welcome. And if you have, then thanks so much for coming back. If you haven't, please do follow me. And I'm dropping information all the time that people are finding very useful. And we're going to try this again. People are finding very useful and implementable in their everyday lives. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping to give you not just information, but information that you can actually use and take with you. And here's a request. Okay, we're going to try this again. We're going to go live and let's see if we're going to actually buffer. So I'm not going to be with you for a moment until Mair comes on. And that's a commitment of delivering content that will help you, that you can use every single day. One of the pieces of information that I did put on this week is to not make yourself more simple in order to make space for the complexity of someone else. And so as we're waiting for Mair to come on, that we don't need to simplify ourselves. And that idea that to make space for someone else to be more than is not one that we need to really ascribe to, that we can hold our own complexity, and that making space is, we're trying again, go live. Okay, that making space isn't just a one-way street, that we can make space and the person that we're making space for can also make space for us. And that part is really important. And oftentimes we feel like, oh, well, I'm the person who needs to make all of the accommodations. Being accommodating is one thing, making all the. And so take a moment now and think for yourself as people with many facets. We're multifaceted. We're all our own diamonds, each and every one of us. And so where are you holding your complexity? What does that look like for you? Okay, so I need to make a shift. And all right, here we are. Let's see if this is going to work any better. Let's try this again. We are having a little bit of a technological glitch, but we persevere. That is always the story of how things happen here. And so going back to complexity, what is your complexity? What are your facets? If you think of yourself as a diamond, what are the facets that make up your complexity? And then you can ask yourself, in what ways am I holding steady and what are my non-negotiables with that? And then also, where are the spaces where I'm willing to give? And what does that look like in terms of someone else making space for me and allowing space for my complexity? So that's where we are. And I think these are really important thoughts for today, especially during a time when we have what's been talked about quite a bit, which is the authority gap, and that women who are coming into positions, who are coming in with the same level of credentials, are just discounted in thinking. It's an orientation, it's a mindset. And we're waiting for Mair to come in a different kind of way. I know we're going to get there. We just need that moment. And here we go. We're trying again. We'll get there. So here we are. So if you can, kind of drop into the chat what your levels of complexity are, what your non-negotiables are, how you hold space for someone, and how you wish that someone would hold space for you, for your complexity, for the things that make you the unique individual that you are, bringing important heartfulness, mindfulness, skillfulness into the world to have impact on others and to really be able to deliver in the ways that you would like. We are still having a little bit of a glitch getting on, and apologies for that. Hang with us if you need to. Here we go, another request. Okay, we're going to go live. Let's see if we buffer this time. And let's see. We're giving this every try we've got, and I have faith in it. So in the meantime, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mair Emenogu, and Mair is the owner of Mair. Okay, and so we're going to give it another couple of moments, and if not, we're just going to need to start over and give this another try. Sorry. We do the best we can, and she joined. Okay, there's Mair. She has joined, and let's see where here we go. Let's see if there's a request. Hi, Mair. Good to see you on here. Can't wait to see you. Kimberly, thanks so much for going on. All right, so Mair is unable to join right now. We are going to sign off and come back on. All right, see you in a couple of minutes. And all right, here we go. Here's a request. Here we go. I'm going to, which one should I accept? Okay, will that one work? And let's see if that one, oh my gosh, we're there. We're there. Yes. Perseverance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perseverance. Different phone, different account, but I'm here.
Here counts. Here counts. Okay. Welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations, in which okay, here we go. I'm going to start over again. Here she is. I'm so happy I lost my moment. Welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations with thought leaders, entrepreneurs, influencers, people at the top of their fragrance industry, authors, educators, in which we deep dive into the experiences these women have needed to navigate and conquer in order to have achieved the personal and professional success they have at this point in time. I'm Dr. Risa Reiger, clinical psychologist, and I'm an expert in change. I help individuals, companies, teams make positive change. And positive change can happen at any point. That's the good news. You're never too late. In order to make positive change, you need to disrupt. We need to disrupt. We need to disrupt thought, feeling, belief, habit, behavior in order to create our 10.0 lives. And that's what this series of conversations is all about. And after tremendous perseverance and stick-to-itiveness, I am thrilled to again welcome Mair Emenogu, the owner of Mair, who is a trailblazing in the niche of the fragrance industry. She comes from Houston, Texas, and her fragrance collection weaves sophistication and elegance into every note. And we'll learn more. I didn't know for a while what a note was and how that had to do with fragrance, but I've been educated. And so with commitment to creating a soft line of fragrances for women to enjoy, Mair's philosophy has always been clear. You are the masterpiece. The scent, the fragrance is a harmonious accessory that complements your essence without overpowering it. And so, Mair, we have been through it together. We've been riffing and vibing. I know you've been on your devices. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
So,
you.
fabulous. And so, my question to you is, I said some things that were on your bio, but what haven't I said about your bio that you would like us to know about you?
I think you nailed it. I think a lot of people want to know, like, okay, well, what about her family? I'm one of four, one of four siblings. It's five of us total, and I'm number four. And we're born and raised in Houston, Texas. And I'm having a blast, man. That's it. Like the family background.
Fantastic. So my first question, once we're past the bio, is, Mair, what did you need to disrupt inside of yourself in order to have achieved the personal and professional success you have up to this point in time? Because we know there's more to come.
I think breaking, you know how you have a puzzle and the puzzle shows you the picture of what it's supposed to look like? When you have a dream that's so big that well, for me, was very scary, you have to get rid of the picture because the picture will almost cripple you on your journey there. You know what I mean? So this is an industry that is dominated by celebrities. It's dominated by generational ownership. It's dominated by hard obstacles to overcome. And getting rid or breaking up from that image of the end, was very key to me.
So one of the things that we know is for women entrepreneurs, and you're a solopreneur?
Yes.
Okay. For women entrepreneurs, for women solopreneurs who particularly don't have a huge track record in their field, what was it like for you? What has it been like? If you could share your journey with us, and also, as we discussed before, the importance of being clear that also being a woman of color, that there are more components to your journey that really are so important. And thank you for sharing what your path has been like.
Mm-hmm. So as a female entrepreneur and as a Black-owned business, there are obstacles because not only are you starting at ground zero, you're almost starting like a few levels behind. There's a lot of education you need in an industry like this. So is the question, how did I overcome it?
Well, what is it that happened? Thank you for clarifying. What is it that happened? What is it that you needed to overcome? And what did you learn in the process to shift, things inside of you to be able to do that and get to where you are now?
For me, I think the biggest challenge was financial. What you hear in the news about capital being one of the reasons why majority of companies fail is so true. Access to capital for Black-owned businesses is virtually, it's very hard. I won't say it's impossible, but it is very difficult. You have to prove beyond like a shadow of a doubt that you can win. And it's very difficult within the beauty space because it's dominated by companies like Coty. It's dominated by companies like Estee Lauder, who have like 100-year history, like 25 to 50-year history in the business. And so an investor that's in the beauty space, a business like Bank of America that, is funds businesses like an Estee Lauder, say, well, how are you going to take business from them? And it's very hard to prove that. So you have to get funding in like a bootstrappy way, So I think that was the challenge, and how I overcame that is I came in with a bank of my own. So I didn't really need their funding until later in the game. But that was the challenge for me coming up, was finding the funding.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, there's so many layers of that. I don't have these statistics available to me, but they are just astonishing of the low percentage of women of color, of Black women entrepreneurs getting funding at this level. So you came in with your own bank,
Mhm.
and that's really quite extraordinary, uh, to have the foresight and to be able to do that. What do you think in your journey and what you did prior to helped you to, fortify where you are now? Because many of us, we start in one place and we end up in another place, and people think, oh my gosh, that was really a waste of time with that. But I don't believe that to be the case, because there's always skills and important knowledge that you get in the process of doing whatever it is that you've done before.
I would say a few things. Number one, never despise your humble beginnings. Number two, none of your experiences are ever wasted. So here is, it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I'm going to admit it anyway. Pre-business, so in my day job, pre-business, I think the saying is entrepreneurs make the worst employees. So true. I was laid off 6 times in my work career, but those experiences weren't wasted, because through that taught me resilience. It taught me how to keep getting back. I kept getting back up. It was 6 layoffs, not one. And I kept going after. It taught me resilience. I would say the lesson learned was resilience, because you're going to need a lot of it. I am currently in Macy's, and I don't think they'll mind me telling this story, but they told me no twice before saying yes. And so resilience is key.
So I would call it, you were laid off. What is it that you said to yourself? Because our self-talk is so important. Our self-talk is critically important of what what gets engraved in ourselves in terms of who we say we are to ourselves. So what was your self-talk about when you hit the wall of something, of helping you get back up?
Hmm. I kept saying to myself, I can't quit now. I have to see the end. I want to know what the end of my story looks like. And if I quit, I'll never know what that looks like.
So you're in Houston, and at what point did you start thinking about going into fragrance?
Ooh, so my story is very unique and almost serendipitous. My story starts at a point of humility in my life. So in 2010, I graduated university, graduated into unemployment. This is in Houston, where the BP oil spill happened. Oil and gas is the major market in Houston. Nobody was hiring, and the other market is healthcare. Wasn't going there. And I was unemployed for a year. I needed that because my pride needed to be broken. It really did. Anyway, my first job was as a receptionist. Didn't want to do that. It was the recruiter who said, Mair, just get your foot in the door and the rest will fall into place. So I was a receptionist for 6 months and then moved into marketing. But it was at that reception desk that the VP, my former boss, said, Mair, I can see this on a perfume bottle. And 3 years later, it was a reality. Because of all of those layoffs, I was like, man, there's got to be more to life than this. This is not the journey the journey that everyone else takes, I don't think this is the journey for me. So entrepreneurship was the next natural step.
What gave you that confidence, that listening to yourself?
I think it's I have to give show love to who it belongs to. My parents, my siblings play a huge role in the positive talk, because they exemplified it, or they showed it. They lived the positive talk in my head, and I hope that makes sense. So I saw them fall and get back up. So they are the reasons why in my head I say to myself, keep going, because I've seen it. I've seen what happens when you're in your supposed failure, and I've seen what happens when you continue to rise and show up for yourself. So they were the example that I got to see.
That's that's so important and so helpful. And I want to just note for our community who's listening in and those who will be viewing this afterwards, that not everyone has a family that does that. Not
Mm,
everyone has that family. And there are times that all of us can feel alone. We can feel, lonely in our space, and that at those moments, even if you don't have someone nearby, think about anyone in your life. Find someone in your life who was a spot for comfort for you. And if you can't think of someone, then think of a character, somebody in a movie. Think of whoever it is to help you get connected and not feel so alone, because that's a hard spot to be in and be struggling.
mm-hmm.
And so how'd you get from Houston to New York? What drove that? Because it sounds like you've had quite an extraordinary support network there. I mean, not that you leave it there, it comes along with you. But what gave you that oomph in yourself?
So I have big dreams, large dreams, larger than life dreams, and New York happened because I had this innate strong feeling to scale. And so I was like, there's no time like the present. Now is the time for more. Now is the time where we've lived in, we've excelled, and we've accomplished the early stage and survived. Surviving COVID, not a lot of people manage that. So not a lot of businesses manage that. So um, it was then or not. Like there was the time of opportunity and I just took it. So to scale, that was the reason.
And just to give the audience, our community, a little background, which is that you took the opportunity. Okay, you took the opportunity. Here we are right now. Sue Phillips, a shout out to you. And so we we met. Do you want to tell the story? You want me to start to take it off a little bit to get it started?
Yeah, you first, and then I'll add some
Fabulous.
salt.
Anyway, so Sue Phillips was having, she is a enormous professional, wonderful woman, very giving and supportive in the fragrance industry. She had an event that she hosted, and there was this woman sitting in front of me who had on these like awesome earrings. And I said, "Oh, those are really great on you." And a conversation started, and we just clicked and decided that we were going to, exchange information and keep going. And then,
Oh, and then she hosted a fragrance workshop on the Upper West Side,
east,
and you and
east side, east
oh,
side.
excuse me, see,
That's okay.
yeah, over there, and it was just a great, phenomenal experience to be with all of those ladies, and I was sitting in front of you, and you just struck up a conversation. Like my back was to you, and you were sitting next to your daughters, and you were just like, I don't even remember the first thing you said, but it was something very, very like, oh my gosh, she's my new bestie.
And so this also is so important because you don't know where your next opportunity is. You don't know what's going to happen. And if you step into it, and not step into it in a slimy way or in a way that you feel is duplicitous, but really step into it from a place of curiosity and interest, people will know that. So if you want to think about networking, that's one thing. If you don't like networking, don't think of networking. Think about meeting new people, and that you have an opportunity to find out about someone else, and you never know what you're going to learn, and how that can impact you, affect you, and what could be. And so when we started talking, this came up, and Mair, to her credit, just said, yes, I'm in, and here we are now.
Mm-hmm. Here we are. Technical difficulties and all.
Well, but that's the thing. When you have a technical difficulty, I think it's an extraordinary metaphor for life. Life is full of technical difficulties,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of all sorts. There's something that you think was going to happen and it fell through. I mean, could you share with us? I know we're going to talk about your success. Can you also share with us, in this journey, a challenge, perhaps a disappointment, and how you get yourself back from that? When things are going great, but that's not what makes that successful entrepreneur, solopreneur. So how do you do that? What are your tips for those who are tuning in now?
I had a recent upset where 6 months went into pitching a particular very famous store, and it fell apart. It didn't go the way I wanted. I didn't get picked up or carried by them. And I think I will learn the lesson in that in coming months. But the how you pick yourself back up, or how I pick myself back up, I went to some marketing people, and I was like, hey, this is what happened. I don't know the learning from this, but what do you think? Like, what can I do? I was hoping that, the increase for 2024, like how I meet the goal, the financial goals that I have set for myself in 2024, could be accomplished in partnering with this company. What do you think I should do? And they were like, I think you are thinking of your business in the old model of how businesses like yours, like brands, beauty and fashion brands, were run and became successful, where they relied or had to rely on stores, on wholesalers to bring money in the door. Today, social media has changed the game. Google has changed the game. TikTok has changed the game. And you can get the eyeballs you're trying to get within a store or a department store, wherever you're trying to go, very easily and cheaper by going directly to the consumer online. You can also do that by getting a store. This is all knowledge from the person I was talking to, and it was just a perspective shift. And so I think the learning there is, you need to have a surrounding. You need to have what am I trying to say? A posse, a group
Community.
of
Yeah.
community of people in your industry, outside of your industry, that you can lean on. Number one, that's important. Number two, you have to be open to hear that. I at the time was open because I was so upset and I thought my world was over. My scale dream was over. So you have to be open to hearing the advice that other people are trying to give, because that can be game changing. And like a doctor, you don't just go with the first person's analysis. Get a second line of opinion.
Yes.
And in this case, the two people that I reached out to, they were saying the same thing. So I think that's key.
What you're saying is so important, because we feel like I need to know this and I need to do this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea of reaching out, getting help. And one of the pieces that's crucial is getting to the point where you say to yourself, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know isn't a place of confusion. I don't know is a place of clarity. You think? Where you're clear, like, I don't know what to do next. But that doesn't mean that you're over. That means that at the point when you know that you don't know, which is really something, then you go and you find people that you can ask.
Yeah. Yeah. And be open to receiving it, because sometimes what they're telling you to do is actually more arduous and more time consuming than the route, I wanted to take, which was going directly to the store. So yeah. And it's always, I never understood this until recently. It is not the destination, it's the journey. And so, and how you get there is not always what we were taught in school, or, how other people that you deem to be successful and made it. It's not going to look, your journey is not going to look like that or mirror that. So that's another thing I wanted to add.
That's great information, that your journey is not going to look like somebody else's journey, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a different time, it's a different space, who you know, how you're connected, what you're doing, who you are, your own vision. Those are all components so that you can learn from other people, but you're not going to be literally walking in someone else's footsteps, because nobody has the exact footprint that you have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so, there, as much as we can have maps and plans and ideas, it doesn't all turn out that way. Even, and Mair, maybe you can speak to this also, that even if we're doing everything right, it doesn't mean that it's exactly going to happen the way we think it should unfold.
Correct. It's kind of like we're all different people. We're not a monolith. Like all blondes are not dumb,
Thank you. Just let me broadcast that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yes. And so it's kind of like that. I heard LeBron James say that. I believe it was either LeBron James or Kobe Bryant who said, it's they asked him what part of your story did you like the most? And we're all expecting him to say, the championship moment when I got the ring, my first one. It was not that. You know what he said? He said it was the journey. And I will never forget this, because I was just like, the journey? That doesn't even make sense. Like, the journey is hard. The journey is where the mud is. Like, ugh, I don't know. I don't like the journey. I like the win. And it wasn't until I swear, it wasn't until like 3-4 months ago that started to make sense. It just clicked in my head. I don't even know what the catalyst was. It just clicked. It is a journey. We're not all the same. We're not all the monoliths. So you have to embrace your journey. Even if it sucks, embrace the suck.
I love that, because
Yeah.
at some point it does suck.
Mm-hmm.
It does suck. And to think that you're not going to have those moments, or those extended moments, or a space where it's just sucking and you're looking to figure out how to get out, and you're going out and you're finding it, that that part of embracing the suck is knowing that it's it's going to happen, even if you're doing everything right. And that when you hit that spot, that it's not a function that you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
How does that sit with you?
I agree. I I live my life knowing that failure is not the period, it's the comma. But you have to be willing and accepting to adapt. It's like rolling with the punches. If a punch is coming this way, you got to roll with it. Don't lean into it, but roll with it. Yeah, failure is not the end. I almost when I was growing up, I would view failure as just crippling and just debilitating, but it's a closed door, but it's not a closed house. It's just a door in your home, but it's not, the home is not closed to you. It's just one aspect, one room.
Mayor, I couldn't, start to wrap up with a better spot than that, and how powerful that image is, that
Mm-hmm.
we don't always just walk through the front door,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Sometimes we've got to go back door, side door, through the basement, through the roof, into a window. But just because the front door isn't open, it doesn't mean you can't get in. I love that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that. And also for being just so truthful and just so impactful, and giving the community this really important information that, by the way, only you can give, because this is what you learned and how you've navigated and metabolized your journey. So this
Mhm.
cannot come from anyone else, because this is a result of your unique experience. That being said, so Mair, what's your next disruption?
My next disruption is coming August 2024, I hope. So
Okay.
in the fall of August of 2024. It is a white space product, which means it's not existing on the mass market. It's a fragrance primer. Well, it does exist, but not mass sold. And it's been tested. It's been focus group tested. This will make your fragrance last long, and I cannot wait for this to be released. It's been a labor of love for me and my fragrance team. We've been working on this for a really long time. I cannot wait for it to come out. So that's going to disrupt, I hope. And then I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on doing. I'm working on a third scent project, which will hopefully be released in the fall of this year or spring of next year. So that's what I'm working on.
Amazing. Amazing. So what I'm hearing is that sounds like it's like the primer that actually my daughter would say I need to put on, but I didn't put on the primer. Like the primer that you put on, and then you put your makeup on top of it, and it makes your makeup last longer, sit better, and all of those sorts of things. That's the fragrance? That's the fragrance equivalent, yes?
Yes, done a little different. The makeup is a little different. The makeup,
Absolutely, of
yeah,
course.
but it's same
There we
concept.
go. There we go. So, Mayor, how can people find you and find your fragrance?
Mairfragrance.com, I believe, is the easiest way to do it. This account is my personal account, but at Mair Fragrance on all social media channels, except for TikTok.
Well, we all can't be everywhere all the time.
And I
We
don't
do it.
want to be.
Thank you for that. That we don't need to be. We can make decisions, and we choose our paths. We choose what we can choose and have control over in our journeys. Make the decisions. Sometimes we need to back up, and but there we go. So first of all, I want to thank you so much personally. I want to thank you, and I know this is our first conversation. I can't wait to have more conversations with you, whether it's on the small screen here or someplace else where it's going to happen in the city, over some tea, coffee, or anything else. And to continue, I love the journey. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I know that it will be of tremendous help and modeling for our community. And so this is time for our glam shot for the cover. Okay, you ready? A little.
Okay, wait.
Okay, hold on. Okay, a little fluff, a little fluff. Okay.
Okay.
Let's, this is, if I saw something that needed anything, I would tell you. Nothing. All good.
Awesome.
We're all good. Fantastic. Okay, ready?
Yes.
And one more. Mayor, wishing you the most exquisite time. Right back at you, and can't wait to continue our conversation. And for everybody here joining us, thanks so much. If you've missed any part of it, don't worry, you can find it. It's going to be posted on my Instagram account. It will be posted also on Mair's, and so no one will miss it. Let people know who need to hear this, where they can find it and listen back in again. It was wonderful seeing everyone today. Remember, positive change can happen at any point. And for next time, I've saved a seat for you. See you then.